I am so tired of feeling helpless as a parent. Yes, my kids are grown adults. My oldest is 28, my youngest is 25. And I thought by teaching them what I learned, which is you work hard, you get a good job, you're going to get the things in life that you need, right? Worked for me, why wouldn't it work for them? Because it doesn't. Because the world has fucking changed, all right? And now I feel like I see them struggling. And before my generation comes at me, yes, I understand struggling is a part of life. We all struggled. But there's a difference between struggling and drowning, all right? So we struggled and it was tough. But you know what? We made it. We knew there was a light at the end of the tunnel with our struggle. It seems like kids today, no matter how much they struggle, they just get further and further down the water into the drowning point, all right? When I was their age, I was making less than $10 an hour. And I can afford to live on my own. Now you have to be making six-figure salary to get a decent, tiny little place to live. So what the fuck is going on, and how do we help them as parents? I told my son, all you have to do is work hard, go to college, or join the military like I did. He went to college, got his degree, got a full-time job. He moved back in with me right when he graduated from college because he said, hey, Mom, as soon as I get a job, which was within 2 weeks of him getting out of college, maybe take me 2 months and I'll save up enough money for me to move out. Okay, cool. It's been 10 months. He has saved almost every dime and still can't afford to live. Why are one-bedroom studio apartments almost $2,000 a month? Why? Like, I just don't get it. So I don't even think that there's even classes anymore. There used to be, upper class, middle class, lower class. It's literally turning into the ultra wealthy and then everybody else is just poor. Like, that's what is happening. And then I told him, hey, when you turn 25, at least your car insurance will go down. Hell no, he turned 25 and his car insurance went up $150. I tell him, if you need health insurance, get a good job. He has health insurance. He has had a medical emergency this week. Had to go to an emergency room twice. He had to go to the emergency room because he couldn't get anybody to see him with the health insurance that he had, right? So he had to go to an emergency room. Now he's out money for that too. It seems like you can never get ahead. And then my daughter, I told her all you have to do because she wanted to buy her own house. My daughter worked 6 days a week, 12 hours a day to save up enough for this down payment. Finally got this house. She's paying double what I'm paying for my mortgage, but her loan was the same amount. And then her mortgage company, after she's already moved in, said, oh, by the way, we forgot to tell you that you need this type of coverage, which we forgot in the beginning. That's an extra $200 you've been paying a month. And all they see when they come home is they watch social media, kids their age, on lavish vacations with all this money and nothing to do, all these social media influencers, because we value those types of things over hard workers. We will pay them $10,000, but you work 40 hours a week, you can't afford it.
No one that works a full-time job should be facing homelessness. And that's what my family is facing right now. Our landlord gave us a 30-day notice to sell our home that we've been in for 8 years. And if you know, we're in a housing crisis right now. And we can't find a home to live in. So after this weekend, that's it. We're going to put everything into a storage unit and be done. And be homeless. Because we cannot find substantial housing, okay? And the issues that we're facing are every single rental property is, oh, you need to make 3 times to 4 times the rent. Come on, that's like unrealistic. The other one is, oh, your credit score needs to be like 700 plus. Again, unrealistic. If I had all that criteria, I would go buy a house. Like, I would not be trying to rent anything right now. And I guess I'm just feeling like very frustrated because there is a big issue in this country and it needs to be fixed. Something needs to be done. And on top of that, like, let's talk about how all these rentals are like $1,500 and they're like shitholes. They're not even decent. Nothing is updated in them. Everything is old. So much to the point to where now my family is being resorted to being shoved in a small apartment with our 3 kids, our 2 cats, and our 100-pound German Shepherd. That's a problem because we work full time. We should not be forced into an apartment because we're literally being outbidded by all of these other people at these rental properties. It's like you go to a rental property, you put an application in, and so does 30 other people. And they literally just pick out of a hat who gets the house. It's insane. And something needs to be done.
Yeah, I don't really get what the plan is for like a future of American society when no one can afford to have kids. Like, they're clearly not going to do anything about the cost of housing being so expensive that no one can afford to buy homes, or like no one who owns a home right now is ever going to buy a new one because it's so expensive. They're clearly not going to do anything about childcare being thousands of dollars a month, and the fact that you have to put your kid in daycare because you can't afford to have a one-parent household. And they're not going to do anything about student loan debt and the fact that one or all three of those things prevent people from having kids because we can't afford it. I just don't. I know part of what they're going to do is take away birth control, take away abortion until like we don't have much say in the matter. But what is the plan for a country where no one can afford to have kids, where it's so inhospitable to have kids that people don't have kids? Like, I'm 30 years old, none of my friends have kids. There's a whole group of boomers that are retiring right now. A lot of them have homes where all their money is tied up in their home, and they're going to need to sell their home to afford to live for the rest of their lives, 10, 20, 30, whatever, how many years they have left. Who's buying their homes? We're not buying their homes. We can't afford to buy their homes. So like, how are they going to live? What are they going to do? What are we going to do? Who's going to be in the future if no one has money to have kids? I don't understand like what anyone's plan is.
Don't believe the housing crisis is real? I got a perfect example for you. Me and my fiance are looking for a home in Bakersfield because it is one of the only places that we could possibly afford, and it's about an hour out of LA where most of my family lives. So we thought about it. We both make over 100K gross probably combined, and then net probably around 70 to 80. So we're looking for homes within our price range, you know? So let's take a tour of this lovely property that they have listed out in Bakersfield before I show you the price. So it's a 3-bed, 1-bath, as you can see, 1,200 square feet. Quite a lot of square feet though, but as you can see, it literally looks like the poltergeist lives there. Like they performed exorcisms here, as if Requiem for a Dream was filmed here. The dead baby from that movie haunts the halls, you know? I mean, look, I'm gonna zoom in here. Look at the bathroom. It's in utter disrepair. It's practically, it's horrible. Now remember, this is Bakersfield. Bakersfield. This isn't Los Angeles. This isn't a prime city. This is Bakersfield. Okay? So I'm gonna let you guess what you think it is. All right? Well, guess what? You're wrong. It was $219,900. Okay? What makes it even more egregious, right, is that if you're on Zillow like me all the time, that's public record what the house was sold for and what it was previously bought for, you know. And so if we go ahead and we look at the past, right, it's $219,000, right? Guess what it was sold for just a month ago? Guess what it was sold for just a month ago, right? Let's see. $155,000 about less than a month ago. $155,000. Now these scammers want over like about 60 something plus $1,000 for a house they did literally nothing to, that they just bought, and then they're putting it back on the market. For what? Just a bunch of fucking scammers. That's all they are. The housing market's doomed, bro. The housing market's doomed. You can barely find a home anywhere, let alone a 3-bed, 1-bath, or even, God forbid, you get a second bathroom. Okay, that it might as well be a multi-million-dollar home in California. But for $219,000, and you practically look like you have to exercise your home. You got to bring a priest in. You got to tear down the walls. Come on, fucking kidding me. Call it a flip, cause you flip me over and fuck me.
The US is completely unhinged when it comes to our prices. So I'm in the middle of the country right now. I'm in the middle of Missouri, where visiting my parents where they live, and I just went to a local chain coffee shop and got a coffee. This latte, it's an medium oat milk latte. It cost me almost $8. Like, I'm not in a big city having a fancy coffee. This is a drive-through coffee in the middle of Missouri, just cost me $8. I swear, if millennials can't even afford their little treats anymore.
Let's talk about how ridiculous it is to try and survive and live in the United States right now currently. Based on inflation, this home that you could buy for $1,785 in 1929, this home came with everything you needed to build a house: plumbing, electric, wiring, trim, paint, everything. You had to build it, but it was $1,785. That's a 4-bedroom, 1-bath home. That home, based on inflation, should be $30,769.47. According to money.cnn.com, the average 4-bedroom home in the United States right now costs $363,401, or 11.8 times the inflation rate. So how did that happen, right? Inflation says that house should be 31 grand. Anyway, let's look at some statistics in the United States right now, kind of associated with 31 grand. The average compact car right now costs $26,000, so you could buy that. Mid-size car, 32 grand, too much. Couldn't afford that, right? That house should be cheaper than a mid-size car. Student loans, $37,338, also more. Food to feed a family of 4, $12,565, or about 2 years of food costs for a family of 4 is what that house should cost. Average childcare expense, $14,760, and that's for one child. So if we multiply that by 2 for 2 children, it should cost you about 1 year of childcare to buy that house. Here's a crazy one: taxes to take care of a homeless individual. $30,000 to $50,000 a year today is what it costs to house a homeless individual in the United States. But based on math and based on the government's own calculation to calculate inflation, that 4-bedroom, 1-bath house should cost $30,769.47.